Hello and welcome to This Week in Campbell Football, powered by our friends at Fred Anderson Toyota. I'm your host, Chris Ameyer, alongside the head coach for Campbell Football, Mike Minter. And Coach, a tough one here at home. Your offense did some good things again, didn't quite get the win, but what are your thoughts when you look back at the game over the weekend against Morehead State?
Well, you know what, it was a tough loss because defensively we have to find a way to quit giving up the big play. Because at the end of the day, that's what's happening. If we could stop some folks and not give up big plays, then we can win some ball games. And right now that's where we at as a football team, is trying to figure out, how not to give the game away. And again, 100 yards of penalties. Even though some of those penalties was aggressive penalties, holdings and stuff like that. Sometimes you get them, and sometimes you don't. And so, I'm pretty excited about where the offense is at and what they're doing, and scoring. I think scoring enough points for us to win some games. And so, again, I think from a defensive standpoint, we have to figure out a way not to give up the deep ball.
The offense doing great and putting up numbers really is an understatement, Coach. 583 yards of total offense, 383 yards rushing. You guys right now are second in the nation, FCS, in rushing, and that's a total offense effort. We talk about Brian Hudson and what he does on the ground, your quarterback, your stable of running backs, but the offensive line is the one opening the holes, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think Coach Thompson is doing a great job with the offensive line, and really they playing as a unit, and as an offensive line, that's what you have to do. You have to play as one, and they doing that, and they know who to block, they know how to get them. I think our running scheme is a tough scheme to defend. So as a defense, it's very difficult because we give you so many different looks, so many different ways that we can run the football with the quarterback, with the running back, with our wide receivers. So it makes it very difficult for the defense. And so as a whole, the whole offensive staff right now and the offensive players are doing a great job of doing the things that we ask them to do. We don't drop about 8 balls, and you're talking about now, maybe 700, 800 yards. And so, again, those are critical things that we got to get better at.
A lot of great offensive highlights from the game this week. And also, stay tuned after we show you these highlights. We'll get back to the offensive line. We have a fun Ask Coach Mike question coming to you from them. But first, here's the highlights from the game against Morehead State.
The new Carly C's IGA Hometown Proud Press Tower presided over this year's Pink Out game to help fight breast cancer as Campbell took on Morehead State in a PFL showdown. It was scoreless after a quarter. We pick up the action in the second stanza when quarterback Brian Hudson breaks 5 tackles before being stopped at the 1-yard line. One play later, Keith Goss would take it in for the first score and Campbell led 7-0. Morehead State would strike right back as Brandon Bornhauser would take it in from 6 yards out to tie it at 7. Next Campbell drive, watch Jonathan Rogers go through 8 tackles before being stopped at the 1-yard line. Kurt Odom would leap over the Eagle defense to tie it at 14. Just before the half, Morehead State would tack on a 44-yard Luke Boyd field goal, and we go to the half 17-14 in favor of the Eagles. Second half, Morehead State would open things up as Mason Rutherford would catch this 16-yard touchdown pass, and the Eagles take a 24-14 lead. Campbell would get some defensive pressure on Morehead with this sack, but the Eagles would strike again, this time from 56 yards out, as Katara Lewis would score to make it 31-24. Campbell, however, was not done. Ben Bowling gets away from the defense to score on a 56-yard throw, and the Camels would draw within 10. Unfortunately, the Eagles would match Campbell touchdown for touchdown with scores of their own. Keith Goss would get away for his second touchdown of the game, this one from 23 yards out. Morehead State would answer with a score, and then Ben Bowling would set up the final Campbell score with this catch and run. Dalton Dillon would catch the final touchdown pass of the game, and Campbell would add a 2-point conversion to make the final score 45-36. Offensively, Campbell had 553 yards of total offense, 383 yards on the ground. Quarterback Brian Hudson led Campbell in rushing and threw for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right, now it's time for our favorite segment on This Week in Campbell Football. Ask Coach Mike, where we take questions from you out there in cyberspace. You can post them to Facebook. You can get us on Twitter with the hashtag AskCoachMike. And this one is kind of an inside job. This one comes from Trooper73, which is one of your offensive linemen, and then all the rest of the offensive linemen, as they do as a unit, they retweeted this question. They want to know, Coach, they've been having a beard-growing contest since the beginning of training camp. They want to know which one of your linemen has the best-looking beard, and could you care to elaborate why?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I'm going to say all of them got a great one. All right, I'm going to tell you why, because I still need them to continue to block the way they're blocking. So I say every last one of them got a great-looking beard that they got going.
You know this on the teams that you've been on, heck, high school, college, even the pros. The offensive linemen are kind of together at this pack. They're a unit. They kind of do things as one, and it's really typical of your guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, in order for you to be a great unit, you have to be on the same page, and no more than that in the offensive line. Each guy got to know what the other guy's thinking, and I think, again, Coach Thompson has done a great job of building that. You know, coming in, you know, that was an area of concern for us as coaches, and now it's become one of the best groups on the football team up to this point. So, you know, we're very excited about them and the way that they've gravitated to what we're trying to get done, and they kind of put it on their backs and have been getting the job done.
Well, Coach, you'll need the offensive line, the offense. You'll need your defense. A tough challenge for you coming up this weekend. You go on the road back to the Hoosier State. This time it's to Indianapolis to take on the Butler Bulldogs, who are the top team in this league.
Well, I can tell you right now, Butler is better than them two teams we just played. They are very sound. They got a lot of seniors on their football team, so they don't make mistakes. They're going to make you pay when you make a mistake, and they're just going to be patient. And they're just going to do what their game plan calls them to do. They don't go outside of that. And they just play sound football for 60 minutes. And that's really what you see in Butler. I mean, they don't have, you know, flashy guys. I mean, that's not what it is. We're going to line up. We're going to do what we do. And they got a great quarterback. And so, you know, and a great running back. And so we got to try to contain those two guys if we can. And you know, the defense is sound. They don't get out of place. They gonna make you earn every yard that you get. And so when you look at that, that's why they're so successful as a football team. Is they don't make those mistakes that kills you in critical moments.
And you can follow Campbell on the road. Every game broadcast over the airwaves for free, 107.3 FM, and for free audio at gocamels.com. That'll do it for this week in Campbell football. For head coach Mike Minter, I'm Chris Haymeyer saying we'll see you next week on This Week in Campbell Football.